Notice of public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene an executive session, workshop, and regular meeting on Tuesday, October the 3rd, 2006, at 4:55 p.m., 5:30 p.m., and 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Federal Building, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Executive session items. Discussion. Item A, discussion pursuant to Section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code regarding real property. And item B, discussion pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code regarding pending litigation.
Thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
We're retiring.
Good evening, everyone. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have, let's see, who do we have leading us today? We have from Villanueva Elementary, we have the Student Council. All right. Let me see. Student Council President Cole Atkinson. Hi, Cole. Vice President Mirna Aguilar. She's absent, unfortunately. Okay. Secretary Joanne Suarez. Hi, Joanne. Treasurer Julian Hervilla. And grade level representative Alan Anguiano. Welcome, Alan. Fourth grade representative Danielle Cook. She's absent, okay. And third grade representative Angel Lee Garcia? Absent, okay. If you all would please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and in the Texas Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one indivisible.
I tell you what, if you all would just stay right over there for us for a few minutes, I got something for you, but we're going to move forward. Pastor John Phillips, if you'd lead us in our invocation this evening, thank you for being with us.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we love you and thank you for this special opportunity you give us as citizens to be able to witness how you lead this city. And we thank you, Father, for these that are leaders that you've brought to our city. And Father, we ask that you guide their hearts, that they will make the decisions that are best for our city. And Father, we ask that you would bless them and their families and protect them as they lead our city. We thank you for our mayor and his family. And Lord, we ask that the city would be a light in the valley for all people to look to as examples. And Lord, we just give this time to you tonight and ask you to bless the words that are spoken and the decisions that are made. May they be something that could be for the good of all mankind. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. All right. We have several proclamations this evening. The first one is the National Lupus Awareness Month. Commissioner Arroyo?
Yes. This is a proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, designating October 2006 as the National Lupus Awareness Month in our city. Whereas lupus is a chronic disease that afflicts approximately 2 million people in the United States, and whereas the majority of those afflicted by this debilitating disease, which is more common than leukemia, muscular dystrophy, cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, and cystic fibrosis, are adult women, and numbers are greater among African American, Asian, and Hispanic women. Whereas, the Lupus Federation of America, South Texas Chapter, Inc., which is a nonprofit organization with the goals of educating lupus patients, their families, increase public awareness of the disease, encourage, promote, and support lupus research. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the charter of the said city, we do hereby designate October 2006 as National Lupus Awareness Month in our city. This was done on the 3rd day of October, signed by the mayor and the commissioners.
Is there anybody present to accept this? Please step forward. If you'd like to say a few words, you're free to. You sure? Okay. All right. Who do we have here from Head Start? Anyone? If not, I'll tell you what, Charlie, then let's bring it back for the next meeting. I want to make sure that they're here. Commissioner Cisneros, if you do the next proclamation for us.
Anybody here for the
Watch your car
awareness?
awareness. Chief, since you don't have anything to do with...
A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, designating October 2006 as Watch Your Car Awareness Month in our city. Whereas the Texas Automobile Theft Prevention Authority, ATPA, was established by the 72nd Legislature in 1991 to combat the escalating offense of motor vehicle theft in Texas. And whereas motor vehicle theft is a serious property crime, one that seriously impacts the economy, its victims' ability to provide for their families, as well as disrupting our very way of life. And whereas the City of Brownsville, the City of McAllen, and Cameron County Tax Assessor's Office all participate in the South Texas Auto Theft Enforcement Task Force and has been funded by the Automobile Theft Prevention Authority since 1993. And whereas all citizens need to recognize the importance of motor vehicle theft prevention measures, and that public awareness will further aid in the reduction of motor vehicle theft in Cameron, Hidalgo, Starr, and Zapata counties. And whereas the Texas Automobile Theft Prevention Authority slogan is Watch Your Car, and it has been designated October 2006 as Watch Your Car Awareness Month in Texas. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by the virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby proclaim October 2006 as Watch Your Car Awareness Month in our city, and call upon all our citizens to recognize the importance of motor vehicle theft prevention measures. Done on this 3rd day of October 2006, signed by Eddie Trevino Jr., Mayor, and the rest of the Brownsville City Commission.
Mayor, there's two reasons why this is very important. One, it's a requirement for the grant that we receive on an annual basis from the Automobile Theft Prevention Authority. And two, and most important, is that we need to let our citizens know that it's very important for them to take proactive measures into installing some type of anti-theft devices on their motor vehicles. Currently, we're in a 20% increase motor vehicle theft rate for this year for the city of Brownsville. Our proximity to the border, the rapid growth of our city, those numbers will continue to increase if we ourselves as owners of motor vehicles do not take measures into our own hands and start installing some type of motor theft vehicle theft prevention devices. So it's very important that all of us take an interest in our own property. We as a police department can only do so much, but definitely this is a partnership between the citizens of this community and the police department, and we need all the help that we can get. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief.
And do we have anybody here to accept the proclamation on behalf of the National Arts and Humanities Month? Oh, yeah. All right.
Thanks.
Y'all want to utilize your free airtime to make any type of an announcement, you can do that too. Carol, you want to accept the proclamation?
Carol.
Proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, designating October 2006 as National Arts and Humanities Month in our city. Whereas the month of October has been recognized as National Arts and Humanities Month by thousands of arts and cultural organizations, communities, and states across the country, as well as by the White House and Congress for more than a decade. And whereas the arts and humanities embody much of the accumulated wisdom, intellect, and imagination of humankind, and whereas the arts and humanities enhance and enrich the lives of every American, and whereas the arts and humanities play a unique role in the lives of our families, our communities, and our country. And whereas the nonprofit arts industry also strengthens our economy by generating $134 billion in economic activity annually and by supporting the full-time equivalent of 4.85 million jobs. And whereas the United States Conference of Mayors passed unanimously in June 2004 a policy resolution to urge mayors and other elected officials to proclaim October as National Arts and Humanities Month. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby proclaim October 2006 as National Arts and Humanities Month in our city, and call upon all our citizens to celebrate and promote the arts and culture in our nation, and specifically encourage the greater participation by those said citizens in taking action for the arts and humanities in their own towns and cities. Done on this day, the third day of October 2006, signed Mayor Eddie Trevino Jr. and the rest of the City Commission.
Mr. Mayor and City Commissioners, on behalf of the entire Board of Directors of the Brownsville Museum of Fine Art, the staff, the membership, and all of the volunteers, as well as the myriad of other wonderful performing and visual arts organizations in this community, we'd like to thank you for recognizing October as National Arts and Humanities Month. Of course, we are tremendously excited by the commencement of this project, which the doors will open in roughly 3 weeks. On October 20th, Brownsville will witness the birth of the very first Brownsville Museum of Fine Art. It will be the only museum south of Corpus Christi exclusively dedicated to the visual arts, and we feel honored to have been entrusted with the leadership and stewardship of this very important project, and we hope to make the entire city of Brownsville and the Rio Grande Valley proud with all the projects that we will undertake in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Congratulations to the board. Mr. Kabler, you're next. Employee of the Month.
Mayor, members of the commission, please help me welcome Dora Wobbler, the Employee of the Month for October. Time flies. She's the 10th Employee of the Month for the year. Dora is a 25-year veteran of our city. The first 2 years she spent with our MIS department. The last 23 years she's been with our Parks department. And of course, she is under the supervision of Skip Keller.
Not all 23 of those were with Skip, right?
No.
Okay. All right.
Her first 2 years with our MIS, our computer system, which our computer system was only 50 years old then, so it's 25 years ago. Dora is an administrative specialist too, and is charged with providing administrative services to the department. She's invaluable. As we know, Skip is out of town a lot, and she takes charge of the office and helps the whole city with information in relation to our parks, and she also assists during budget time in helping prepare the budget, and aids all our recreational departments and divisions. She's valuable to us, and of course, as being the Employee of the Month for October, she is eligible for the Employee of the Year, gets a day off, and accepts our gratitude, and when Skip's in town, he'll take her to lunch. So she gets an ordinary cap, our pin, our plaque. To speak. Welcome, Dora Wobbler.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for this award. I've enjoyed working with the city for all these years. I also want to thank Skip and Charlie for their support. Thank you.
Thank you for 25 years, Ms. Waller.
I'd just like to say that, you know how it is. If you don't have a person like this working with you, you're not going to get everything accomplished. So I really appreciate what she does for me, and you couldn't ask for a better person.
Thank you, Skip. Item 3.
Item 3, consent agenda items A through I.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Hold on. Mayor,
Hold on.
on the consent agenda,
Yes.
I just want to make sure that, Stella, I need you to correct the minutes on item E. That's the only one I voted nay on. Everything else was a yay.
Any other changes to the consent agenda?
Is that how you have my vote also? On nay? On item E.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Camarillo with those changes. Is that fine, Commissioner?
That's fine with me, I guess.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We're going to go to item 18.
Is it E?
Where's Peter? Jim, or what?
Stella.
Stella, do you want to read the item?
Item E,
18.
Item 18, consideration and action to execute a memorandum of understanding between the City of Brownsville and Sports Arena Properties Incorporated for a feasibility study to evaluate the economic viability of commercial, retail, and residential development in the downtown area.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, we've been approached by a development group from San Diego who's interested in doing a feasibility study in the downtown area. There will be no cost to the city. It's strictly to investigate the possibility of economic development in this area and what vehicles might be available to the city. As I said, there's no commitment to the city on the city's part other than to just give access and try to cooperate.
All right, so this sounds like an excellent opportunity we should take advantage of.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Hernandez, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Back to item 4.
Item 4, consideration and action to appoint or reappoint 5 members and 1 alternate to the Building and Standards Commission.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Commission, before you have the item as far as appointing members for the Building Standards Commission, we have, staff has contacted all members and all save one are able to be reappointed. Mr. Paul Soto, due to some commitments, was not able to continue that. So that's about the only one that we have that is not able to continue. And we,
Who was that? Whose appointment was he?
Commissioner Arroyo.
Okay.
I would like to make an appointment for that, but not today. I will
Okay.
have to do it at the next meeting.
All right.
Sorry, I thought this sheet wasn't in my agenda, so I
Okay.
didn't realize it was up today.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and bring it back to the next regular meeting.
What about, okay, well, I think we ought to go ahead and approve. I'll make a motion to reappoint the other 5 members.
Okay? Yes, sir.
Okay? Second by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 5, public hearing on the new PUB connection fees, their effect on commerce, and the comparison of the old rate structure to the new rates being charged.
Mayor, I put this item on the agenda, and I'll try to keep this as quick as possible. I know it's a long agenda. I've had many calls about the new fees that just went into effect and the concerns.
Hold on a second, Commissioner. If this is going to take a little while, why don't we finish the other business first?
That's fine.
Why don't we do that? We'll go ahead and go to item 7. Let's take care of the other business.
Item 7, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2006-055 to rezone from dwelling A classification to dwelling retail A classification, Lot F3, Block Share 19 of Lacoma subdivision located at 2255 Tulipan.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, the area here is shaded in red. In this particular case, the applicant would like to construct or use part of his home for a snack shop. This would be a dwelling retail use. He would live on the premise. The Plan and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of this application to you. This is a public hearing.
This is a public hearing.
Close.
Motion closed by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Action.
Approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 8.
Item 8, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2006-056 to rezone from dwelling G classification to general retail G classification, 1.447 acres out of Share 15, Espiritu Santo Grant located near U.S. Highway 281 and West Alton Glore Boulevard.
Mayor and City Commissioners, this is the property shaded in red. This is the corner of US 281 and Alton Glore. Flor de Mayo Road is here. This is a possible location for a bank. The Plan and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of this application to you.
This is a public hearing.
Close.
Motion to close by Commissioner Hernandez, seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Action.
Approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Hernandez, seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next item.
Item number 9, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2006-057 to rezone from dwelling A classification to light commercial G classification, lots 8 through 10 of Vienna Orchard subdivision located near Wild Rose Lane and Central Boulevard.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, this is the area shaded here in red. This is Wild Rose, and you have Central Boulevard. As you can see, part of the property is already zoned 7th commercial. In this particular case, this is part of the driving range, the golf driving range. In this particular case, we would like to have some commercial buildings, a strip mall. The Plan and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval.
Move to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing by Commissioner Arroyo.
Move to approve.
Hold on, who was the second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Hernandez. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Motion to approve by Commissioner Arroyo. Seconded by Commissioner Hernandez. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 10.
Item 10, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2006-606-CU, amending the text of the city zoning ordinance by allowing a conditional use permit for the sale of on-premise alcohol for lots 6, 7, 8, and 9 of blocks 42, 43, and 44 of Los Ebanos property subdivision located at 715 North Expressway 77 and 83.
Honorable Mayor, this is the area shaded in red. This is the Days Inn Hotel on the expressway. The applicant in this case would like to have a bar here in the rear of the hotel. This is a conditional use permit, and we work with the applicant and Plan and Zoning Commission to close all exits going into the residential neighborhood. The building would be fronting the east, but all exits and entrances will be onto the frontage road and onto the expressway.
There used to be one there before, wasn't there?
There used to be a restaurant and a bar, yes, before. This is a new one that will be a few
Oh, that's the old Torito?
Yeah, the old Torito is a restaurant. This would be behind it.
I have a question, Ben. Is there an alley right behind there?
Yes, there's an alley right behind the Days Inn. So there would be no entrances. There will be a complete.
Is that going to be closed off?
So that will be closed.
It will be closed off. No.
Been an issue for the last.
It was an issue.
Okay.
But the applicant in this case decided to close that in order for him to receive.
Could you please let the individuals, the property owners that have been inconvenienced by this for the last year, would you let them know that that's going to be addressed?
Mr. and Mrs. Gomez have also.
Yes.
They're the ones.
Gomez. That's one of the conditions of this permit, that
Very good.
everything was closed to the
Good.
back.
This is a public hearing? All right.
Close.
Motion to close by
Second.
Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Action.
Approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 11.
Item 11, consideration and action to approve fiscal year 2007 budget for the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation.
Move to approve.
Oh,
Second. Second?
hold on. Let's go ahead and hear it. But you will make it brief, Delina. You don't want to lose while you're ahead.
Honorable Mayor and Commission, I'm here today to present the budget for fiscal year 2007. The BCIC board has met several times, the committee has met several times reviewing this, and the BCIC board passed it at its last meeting. The revenues, as you will see, come primarily from one source, which is a sales tax revenue. Given that we rely solely on sales tax, we use a very, very conservative number to determine our budget for the next fiscal year. Given that, we use approximately $3 million. The expenditures that we have in the expenditure category, we have administrative costs. We have one category, which is a BCIC board. We allocate approximately $24,000, which is the amount that we've allocated since the inception of this board. It's used for the food for the meetings, training, and any other type of meetings that we have for the public. Then included in this is the administrative service contract with the city, which is also on the agenda today. It is for $250,000. BCIC board has a contract with the city of Brownsville to provide administrative services. So the administrative total comes out to $274,000, and that's 9% of the total budget. Also, as a precautionary measure, we also added a contingency fund of $100,000 because, again, we have to rely on sales tax for our revenue. In the next category, we have our projects. We have some prior year commitments, which amount to $145,820. This is the fourth of the fifth year of the prior year commitments. The current year fiscal application funding that they're recommending is $578,588.
What is that for?
The current year applications. Currently, the applications are open at this point in time. They opened on September 5th, and the applications will close on, or are due on October 17th. The next item you'll see is Brownsville Road or Merriman Road. They'd like to allocate $1 million out of this next year's budget. Again, that's the road that will run from the Expressway 7783 and to Old Alice. That's on the northern perimeter of the sports park. The next item is the sports park debt service that we are paying $892 or approximately $892,000 per year. Thus, in the project category, we have 88% of the budget.
Any questions? All right, now, who made the motion? Commissioner Atkinson?
Yeah.
And seconded by? This is a motion to approve by Commissioner Atkinson, seconded by Commissioner Cisneros. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Delina.
you.
Item 12.
Item 12, consideration and action regarding engagement of counsel in cause number 04-06040, Golden Spread Electric Cooperative Incorporated versus AEP Texas Central Company, City of Brownsville, and Oklahoma Municipal Power Authority in the 116th Judicial District of Dallas County, Texas.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, I requested this item be placed on the agenda. I'm currently waiting for some additional reports from PUB attorneys. I'd like to table this item if we
So moved to table.
Motion to
Second.
table by Commissioner Cisneros, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next item.
Item 13, consideration and action on resolution number 2006-057 to authorize the closing of Southmost Boulevard for the 7th Annual Veterans Day Parade to be held on Saturday, November the 11th, 2006.
Mayors and members of the City Commission, good evening. This is an agreement that is required by TxDOT in order for us to close Southmost Road on November 11th to hold the 7th Annual Veterans Day Parade.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Neros, seconded by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Chief.
Item 14.
Real quick, just let me ask, why wouldn't you do it in front of the Veterans Memorial on Central, or is that impossible? Is that impossible? Or?
This is, it's the
This
Veterans Park, I'm sorry, the Veterans Parade, Veterans Day Parade group has been doing it at Southmost for the last 6 years. And because most of the other parades have been downtown forever and ever, this was one way to get the southmost area involved. It's just worked out good. We've always had good attendance. It would be nice, but I think I think
It's been getting better and
establish
better.
a nice tradition.
It'd be a
where
logistical
southmost-
nightmare for me, okay?
Yeah, there you go.
Central Boulevard,
It's worked out good.
It works out well in Southmost.
I'm just asking.
Your district? No, I wouldn't.
We
My
did approve it,
district.
right? Did we vote on it?
Yes, we did.
All right, next item.
Item 14, consideration and action on resolution number 2006-058 to request financial assistance from the Texas Water Development Board for the construction of various improvements to the city's utility system with the Valle Hermoso, Valle Escondido, and El Salado Colonia West Water Improvements Project, authorizing financial advisors, bond counsel, and engineers to coordinate the submission of the application to the Texas Water Development Board and other matters in connection therewith.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Commission, my name is David Obregon with the Water and Wastewater Engineering Department at PUB. And the Brownsville Public Utilities Board would like to recommend the approval of this resolution, which will result in the increased funding for these colonial areas, the Valle Hermoso, Valle Escondido, El Salado colonial areas.
So move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Nettles, seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Item 15.
Item 15, consideration and action on resolution number 2006-059 to support the Department of Security by calling on Congress and the President to approve legislation as recommended by the Texas Border Coalition.
This isn't Department of Homeland, right? This is, what is it?
Probably ought to, yeah, you probably shouldn't vote on this one, Commissioner.
I will abstain
The
from this
Texas
one.
Border Coalition, of which we are a member, Commissioner Arroyo has been our city member for the last 3 years, has been meeting regularly with regards to the issue of immigration reform. And they've asked the city of Brownsville, along with all the other border cities and members of TBIC, to pass this resolution. And in essence, what we're calling upon Congress and the President to approve legislation that includes, among other things, the following: that it strengthens border security, that it includes a fair and efficient guest worker program, that it provides a path to citizenship for the millions of undocumented individuals in the U.S., provided they have not committed serious crimes, that they pay their taxes and Social Security on their earnings, does not require cities to enforce immigration violations, does not give a false sense of security to the American people with a fence, include the appropriate number of work visas that is driven by the market, allowing workers of many skill levels to come to our country legally, updates and constructs new border infrastructure to meet long-term demand, to include low-risk port of entry to expedite the secure movement across the border, provides the funding to properly integrate all communication systems at our ports of entry so that we can achieve a true sense of security, provides for the hiring of additional customs and border protection agents to facilitate trade and traffic, provides the resources so an American citizen can continue the enjoyment of their neighbors to the south with using their driver's license as a form of identification, with the added technology that is required by the federal government to achieve security, and extends a deadline that requires all Americans to have a passport to re-enter the U.S. after visiting a foreign country. I will say that on those last two issues, that's already been done. It's been extended from 1 year, from 07 to 2008. I think it's incumbent upon us as a border city, since all this discussion is going to affect us locally to a great extent, that we approve this resolution. I would so move.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Nettles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion
I
carries with one
abstain,
abstention
yeah.
by Commissioner Atkinson.
Just because of the pending litigation between the federal government and myself.
Item 16.
It's been noted. Item 16, consideration and action on resolution number 2006-060, expressing official intent to reimburse with tax-exempt obligation proceeds for the construction of the city's data center.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, this reimbursement resolution allows the city's general fund to lend money for this particular project with the understanding that the City of Brownsville will issue a CO in the near future to finance this project. And the project is to renovate and reconfigure the existing data center to accommodate or adequately accommodate the new computer that's coming, that will be installed. Before I go further, I'd like to indicate to you that in the past, we have also approved some reimbursement resolutions that are listed in your handout. Previously, for instance, we had, or you had authorized us to issue a reimbursement resolution to cover the purchase of land at the landfill for 1.5 million, of which we've already paid for that amount. Also, on May 5th, you authorized us through a reimbursement resolution for $2 million, and that's to cover the linear park. And then there was also, previously to this, a resolution that was passed when we were acquiring the Johnson building at the airport. And tonight, we're asking for you to approve this reimbursement resolution of $550,000. There's an item following this item that I will discuss later with you, but that schedule indicates right now that based on what you have approved, or you will approve tonight, will be a $10,715,000. But out of this $10,715,000, $2 million will be paid out of CDBG funds to cover the park area at the linear park. Again, we recommend that you approve this resolution. If you have any questions, I'll be
Are there any questions?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Odoria, seconded by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Pete. Next item.
Item number 17, consideration and action on resolution number 2006-054, expressing official intent to reimburse with tax-exempt obligations proceeds for street construction improvements.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, if you look at the handout that was also given to you, on page 3, for instance, on November the 6th of 2001, the citizens of Brownsville authorized some general obligation bonds totaling $35 million, with the understanding that during a 7-year period, we would issue $35 million for street constructions. In 2002, the city issued $5 million, 2003, $6.6 million, 2004, $5 million, 2005, $0, 2006, $7 million, and with this reimbursement resolution, we are asking for you to approve this with the understanding that the general fund will finance partially upfront, with the understanding we will issue $6 million of general obligation bonds in the near future. After issuing this $6 million, we will have $5.4 million of unissued bonds that were authorized in 2001. We recommend that so that we can continue with the street construction in fiscal year 2007.
Any questions?
Approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Nettles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 19. Thank you, Pete.
Item 19, consideration and action to authorize the execution of amendments to the tower lease agreement and Exhibit A through D between the City of Brownsville and OE Investments regarding the location of a tower site to the University of Texas at Brownsville parking area behind Lincoln Park.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, when the plan for the city's wireless infrastructure was first brought to you, it had been planned to build a large radio tower there near the PUB water reservoir in that area. There were some problems with that, I believe with the FAA. They found a new location that's adjacent to Lincoln Park that's also on city land, and they're asking tonight to be able to amend the agreements which dictate where the radio tower is located. And Paul Van Hosen's here if you have any specific questions.
So move to approve.
Go ahead, hold on. I'm sorry,
So
Commissioner.
move to approve.
Well, let me ask a quick question. This is not going to impact the rest of the project. This is basically just a relocation. It's still covering the entire city as we planning?
That's correct, sir. The original location that we spec'd out, when the tower company has a 28-point permitting process he has to go through, and we hit the FAA's initial preliminary review with the attorneys up in D.C. Brownsville has an unusual situation that your airport's approach pattern, those earlier are great, that the airport approach pattern actually extends out this far, almost to the border of 77 here, which is pretty wide. The reason it's that way is because if the wind's coming in from the north, they have to actually lane the plans and turn them before they get into Mexico. So they're going to have to do a pretty quick turn. They only have rights to go in like a half a mile into Mexico. So your ceiling here is 500 feet. That's pretty unusual. Normally it's 1,000 feet or 1,500 feet for an approach pattern. So when we hit that, they said, you have to move your tower 3,000 feet. So we had to find a new location. Our new location is on the other side of the levee. It's on the river side of the levee behind Lincoln Park in the brush out there. So we're not in the, if you're sitting in Lincoln Park and you're looking at the ball field, you're not sitting here looking at a tower. It's on the other side of the levee. You will be able to see the tower, obviously. It's a pretty tall tower. We did meet with President Garcia personally, told her the project, explained what we were doing, and they have no objections to the tower being in their backyard either. Very good.
Let me ask you something. Is this a true mesh system that we're going to? We're talking car to car.
This is not a mesh system at all. This is WiMAX.
So it's wireless.
It's wireless, but the technology is WiMAX, which is a broadcast technology. Mesh technology requires you to, for this city, it would require us to put in about 3,500 access points all over the city. We're doing this with 3 towers and 5
I remember
radios.
last time I talked to you, you
Yeah.
talked about mesh.
So we have mesh going into the parks. Now we do have mesh, and there's pieces of this are in the park system, but that's unlicensed frequencies. These are for the licensed radio, emergency services, codes, health, all those folks are going to be using this.
Any other questions? We have a motion approved by Commissioner Atkinson,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Paul. Item 20.
Item 20, consideration and action to authorize the city manager to execute a service agreement with the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation for fiscal year 2007.
This is a contract that I spoke of earlier between BCIC and the City of Brownsville to provide administrative services. It is the same contract as last year.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Hernandez, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Thank you.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 21.
Item 21, consideration and action to authorize the City of Brownsville to enter into a contract with Cameron County Emergency Service District Number 1 to furnish firefighting services to the unincorporated area of Cameron County designated by Zone Number 1 of the official Fire Protection Service zone map of the Cameron County Emergency Service District Number 1.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, Cameron County Emergency Service District has offered $248,501.66, which is an increase of $36,274.66 from last year for us to provide firefighting services to their county areas.
So move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cisneros, seconded by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next item.
Item 22, consideration and action to authorize the City of Brownsville to enter into a contract with Cameron County Emergency Service District Number 1 to furnish ambulance and emergency medical services to the unincorporated area of Cameron County designated by Zone Number 1 of the official Fire Protection Service zone map of the Cameron County Emergency Service District Number 1.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, the ESD has offered $160,170.62, which is an increase of $49,773.62 from last year for us to provide an EMS service. A total, we're being offered over $86,000 in both contracts.
Move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Cisneros. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Item
sir.
23. Thank you, Chief.
Item 23, consideration and action to award a contract for medical insurance stop-loss coverage for fiscal year 2007.
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, requests for proposals were issued by the Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Employee Benefits Pool. The project milestones were as follows. The proposals were received on September 1st. Quotes were received from American Stop Loss, which included Allianz, Reliastar, and Kanawha. Arbor Benefit Group, which includes Fidelity, Security, and Symetra. A bid tabulation was prepared and is attached to your agenda item this evening for your consideration. On September 22nd and 25th, the Insurance Committee met to review proposals submitted via TML. After a conference with their Executive Director, Susan Smith, consensus was reached and a recommendation was made for your consideration and action this evening. And if you would like, Mr. Gonzalez, our Finance Director, can go into some of the mechanics of what our stop-loss insurance is, how it has benefited the city, how it protects the city, and is in the best interest of the city. Basically, as you may know, once we hit $100,000 attachment point in claims, or $105,000, then this contract kicks in, and for any expenditures above that $100,000 threshold per employee, this stop-loss insurance would pay those claims. And we have been very fortunate over the years that this has saved the city easily millions of dollars if we were not to have it. And since we're self-funded, it would come out of the city's coffers. So our recommendation this evening to you is to enter into this contract for 1 year with Arbor Benefit Group, and the premium is $594,700.44. And would you like a further explanation on the stop-loss?
I don't need anything additional.
Motion to approve.
Motion to
Second.
approve by Commissioner Hernandez, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Paul. Item 20,
Item 24,
24.
consideration and action to award a term contract for software maintenance and technical support for the Public Safety Information System of the Brownsville Police Department.
Honorable Mayor and Commissioners, back in December of '04, the initial contract was awarded for the purchase, installation, training, support of this public safety information system for the Brownsville Police Department to Spillman Technologies. The value of that award was some $1,086,000. Covered under that was hardware, software, training, maintenance for the first full year of the contract. That time has now elapsed, and we are simply bringing back to you a maintenance agreement for the current fiscal year, which would start now and end next September. The amount or the value of this maintenance agreement is $76,581. It's important to point out that on these software maintenance agreements, and you're going to start seeing more and more of them as the city expands into different technologies, is that this ensures that we have a continuous open line of communication with the software developers. As updates or fixes come through on the software, they're automatically submitted to us. So it really becomes like a professional service agreement to keep our software updated with the most current version. It also gives us access to their call center for any technical support or any issues that involving training. So we recommend approval.
All right. Any questions?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 25.
Item 25, consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase and delivery of one new utility tractor for the Public Works Department Greens Division.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a little bit more low-tech item that we're bringing before you this evening.
So you mean we'll understand it, or what?
Meaning I'll understand it, I guess. What we've done is we've solicited a buy-board proposal. This is a tractor for use by the Greens Division of our Public Works Department. Our recommendation is consideration and action to award a contract for the purchase of this John Deere 5325 utility tractor to Harlingen Implement Company of Brownsville in the amount of $23,442. The funding is in place from a 1999 CO fund.
So moved.
Motion to approve by
Second.
Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Nettles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. All right, back to item 5. Do you want to do this together, Commissioners? Is there a reason?
Mayor, I can do it together or separate. That's just as easy for me.
Why don't we read them? Read both
of
items
them
again.
together. Item 5, public hearing on the new PUB connection fees, their effect on commerce, and the comparison of the old rate structure to the new rates being charged. Item 6, public hearing on the new PUB connection fees as to the effect they will have on the cost of fire sprinkler systems and other business-related costs.
Mayor, I put this item on the agenda. I've had many calls about the new fees and the people that are concerned about what these fees will do to their business. Most of the calls I've had are from medium and small developers, and their concern was that they didn't realize, and even somebody I talked to today, that a connection fee and an impact fee are basically the same thing, and they're charged the same way. Tonight, some of the developers have showed up and would like to express their concerns over these new fees and the effect that these fees will have on their business, and I've asked them to come forward. And with your permission, Mayor, maybe a few of them come up and say a few words on what this does to their business.
Whoever's here, step forward. Now, I will, obviously, we always want to give everybody an opportunity to speak. It would have been beneficial had you all been here during the last month when we had numerous hearings on this, but be that as it may, I also said that if this was a problem with regards to our construction issue, that we could bring it back to the city for review. I didn't think it would take 2 weeks, but Be that as it may, we're here to listen.
Mayor, Commission, I'm Spike Nichols. I'm president of West Wind Homes. One of the things that concerns me is not so much how greatly it impacts our business as it does the growth of our future homeowners. You know, coming from I've been in the home building business for 25 years, and coming from a small town north of San Antonio, I actually got to witness it. Where right now, Bernie, which is in Kendall County, is one of the fastest growing counties in the state. Unfortunately, the people that operate the businesses inside the city can't employ anybody from Bernie because no one can afford the housing costs in Bernie. So the impact fee doesn't so much greatly affect our businesses. We want to continue the growth, and affordable housing is so critical to a city. Because as companies come, and you well know this, as companies come looking at cities to relocate, that's one of the things that they do look at is affordable housing. And as long as we have the ability to offer affordable housing and keep it within reach of our people that are currently in the city, we will all benefit. This is not so much about how it affects our business as it affects the growth of our city. And that's one of my greatest concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols.
Thank you.
Mr. Alford?
Honorable Mayor, members of the Commission, my name is Kevin Alford, and I am, as of October the 1st, the new chairman of the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce. I have some prepared remarks here that I'd like to read in a letter form and I'll submit for the record, but I can say this, that we primarily viewed this as a residential land developer issue. We did not realize until Thursday of this past week of what it all involves. So if you don't mind, I'd like to just read my letter here. Dear Mayor Trevino, the Brownsville Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors represents the interests of 950 member businesses. We represent the Brownsville business community. The Brownsville Chamber Board of Directors is concerned that the City Commission approve the Brownsville PUB Impact and Connection Fee Program without considering the consequences on Brownsville business. We believe the future economic consequence of this decision is an urgent matter that should be considered immediately. We respectfully encourage the Commission to delay the Impact and Connection Fee Program until we at least know if Brownsville's water meter rates are competitive with McAllen, Harlingen, San Antonio, and Corpus Christi. If Brownsville's prices for water meters are not competitive, we should be ready to accept the fact that some businesses will go down the street to Harlingen, McAllen, or elsewhere. One of these businesses perhaps could be Macy's. We should be ready to accept the responsibility of the economic impact this will have on our community. Many of the out-of-town franchises use construction models to determine the economic viability of doing business in a community. They build their facilities all over the country, and they generally know what it costs to build their box. They roll their construction costs into their business plan, and they know how long it will take to see a return on their investment. Right now, we do not know if our water meter rates are competitive enough to fall within those acceptable parameters of these types of models. The impact fees are also have an effect on local businesses. Today, I have spoken with 4 chamber members who have decided not to build due to the impact and increased connection fees. 2 were going to build office buildings, and 1 was going to build an apartment complex. I personally lost that business.
But do you know why?
Hold on a
Cost
second.
of the water, well, yeah, I had to put in 2.
Well, because it wasn't at 3,090, we had to cuss. If you were here at the last meeting, I said, we're going to have to tell
Hold on a
developers.
second, Commissioner.
Okay.
I'm going to let him finish his letter, his
Okay.
comment. Hold on.
Yeah, okay, right. The other member was an out-of-town investor who says he will not build another building in Brownsville. This all happened today. None of them realized how much the cost of the water meters have increased. We now know that in Brownsville, a 2-inch meter has gone from $3,000 to $17,040. A 4-inch meter has gone from $7,000 to $53,300. A 6-inch meter has gone from $14,000 to 106,700, and an 8-inch meter has gone from 22,400 to 170,600. The largest of the PUB meters is 10 inches. This meter has gone from $32,000 to $245,300. It seems that we do not know the economic consequence of the PUB impact and connection fee program. We don't know if we are competitive with other cities who compete with us for manufacturing, industry, medical, and retail development. We believe we should know. We respectfully encourage this commission to take action to delay the impact and connection fee program until we know if this places Brownsville at a competitive disadvantage and what economic impact the fees will have on Brownsville's future growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alford.
Mr. Alford, we have delayed 16 years, just for the record.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, you okay with that? You okay with that?
Hey, you know what?
16 years.
Okay, well, that's not my issue, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
but you asked.
I think the concern here, Commissioner, is that we're going to stunt growth, and I really do believe that with his raising the impact fees, that's why I voted nay against
Well, let me
it.
tell you something, Mr. Alford. I'm willing to help you any way I can, as long as you don't burden the citizens of Brownsville anymore. You find me a way, and I'll back you up. You find a way to do the projects you want without hurting the citizens of Brownsville.
Let me ask this question. Oh, hold on a second. Let me ask this question before Mr. Quadrillo speaks. John, one question that was asked and we didn't get an answer to is being able to do this, the impact fee on a graduated amount with regards to the commercial fee, because this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about the residential impact. We're talking about the commercial impact. Is it all of the commercial meter sizes, which obviously are larger than the residential, are all those a factor of, do they have to be a factor of the residential, or can they be calculated in a different form?
No, the meter size, you've got so many equivalent service units, which
The size of the meter has an ESU number equivalent to it, if it's 1 or 10 or 20 or
it's
whatever.
not, you can't, like a 1 inch to a 2 inch is not double, it's 8 times. So
Why is that?
That's what you can get through.
Okay, that's how many, a 2-inch services 8 ESUs instead of 2 ESUs, for example.
Let me ask you something, John. Is the connection fee the same as an impact fee, like Ernie said?
No, the impact fee is based on a meter size.
So it's not part of the connection fee?
Connection fee is something different on top of that.
Okay, thank you.
But it got affected
So a
with the
2-inch meter is not $17,000?
The impact fee associated with that is the meter charges on top of that.
And as far as these fire sprinklers,
So it costs more than $17,000?
they might, the fire sprinklers that he brought up, if you never use those sprinklers, are you going to be charged?
You want me to address that?
Yeah, address that, please.
One of the issues that's come up we've looked at is if a commercial establishment has or a apartment complex has a fire line with it. In other words, they would have a fire line and a domestic line. The fire line, in most cases, most all cases, is not metered. It's got 2 check valves that open in the event of a fire and close to prevent any backflow. There's a tiny meter on it, like a 3/4 inch meter, to see that no one's tapped onto it. Our intent with the fire lines is not to assess an impact fee. Now, if there is a fire line that has a meter, and I know there are some cases in the city where you could have a 2-inch or a 1-inch fire line for small sprinkler systems, then that would affect the impact fee and that would be assessed. But if you have an individual, say a 6 or an 8-inch fire line, it's not our intent to assess an impact fee on that. Now,
Right,
we haven't discussed
and those
that.
fire sprinklers are mandated by the state, right?
Yeah, I believe there's requirements, so we don't feel that, that's an incidental use with that and not.
There's not an additional charge for
No.
the fire sprinkler system.
Well, the actual installation of the detector check valve is, but no impact fee.
No additional impact fee.
No.
And was that an initial charge?
With whatever
Well,
the
they have to
impact fee
put
is,
in the-
whatever the size of the meter
If
is.
they had to put in a 6-inch.
Mr. Alford, you got to understand, we're not against businesses coming in. okay? And then there's incentives everywhere. There's GBEC, and we have all these other places we can get money from.
Address the question to me, may I
Yeah,
answer?
go right ahead, Mr. Alford,
First
but
of all-
but hold on a second. GBIC is not the savings deposit for any development, and we've been very, very judicious, absent recent announcements. We've been very, very judicious with regards to what type of developments we do, and we usually do not support and give money and incentives to retail. We've been very, very adamant about that from the GBIC standpoint. Not been giving money to the retailers,
Even though
maybe
it's
a little
go-
bit.
Even though it's gonna bring in employees.
We haven't had to do that. We haven't had to do that. All of the
Might have
growth that
to.
we've had on the north side has not been because GBIC has been supporting or giving incentives. We need to make that very, very, very clear. Go ahead, Mr. Alford.
Well, one issue related to GBIC, of course, is that's taxpayer money. So in essence, if you're going to ask GBIC to fund it, you're asking the taxpayers to fund it. So you're increasing, I mean.
But
your
you're still
original
asking-
question to me-
Hold on a second,
your
Commissioner. You asked him a question. You can let him
The original
respond.
question to me was that we've delayed for 16 years. The chamber is not taking a position for or against this. We're saying we don't know. We don't know what the impact is going to be. We don't know what McAllen charges for a 2-inch meter. And what we're asking is, we think we should know.
McAllen
Are we
has an-
competitive?
McAllen has an impact fee, but it's not in the form of an impact fee. It is called something else.
It's called an escrow.
okay,
It's
well-
called an escrow amount, but nobody's explained to me anyway how that actually works.
And this is our question. This is our issue, is that we believe that we should understand what the economic consequence is going to be.
I totally agree
if
with
I
that.
wanted to move my office, well, I mean, that's the answer
Yeah.
to your question, and that is the reason why we're asking for delay, because we don't believe that there has been an economic impact study on this issue.
Yeah, but there also hasn't been a study on what it's doing to the citizens of Brownsville, that their rates keep going up every year.
I'm a citizen of Brownsville.
Huh?
I'm a citizen of Brownsville.
Okay, well, maybe you're up a upper scale income level, but a lot of people aren't.
I'm not
This
on
is
an upper
Brownsville,
scale income
Texas.
level.
Commissioner, the rates are not going up every year. They went up 1 year, and then that's why we had the study done on the impact fees.
Thank you, Mr. Alford, for being here. Mr. Cadriel?
Mayor Trevino and members of the commission, my name is Joe Cadriel, and my concern is over again the same topic of the conversation is the impact fees and the sprinkler system. The sprinkler system, I think, was passed January of this year, so it's been in effect a few months. Most people are not completely aware of it. I wasn't aware until it came into being. It says that if you're going to build more than a duplex, you have to put a sprinkler system. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. Or X number of square feet. Excuse me. So you have to put a sprinkler system. To put a sprinkler system, you must put a meter or some kind of water. You have to have a water intake, and then you have to build the system into the apartments. And I don't know if everybody knew the cost of what this was going to be. And before the impacts or the new fees came into effect, I think it was like $30,000 for a meter, for a 2-inch meter, and I think it jumped up to $100,000. Those are the numbers I think that were given. And I don't know if it involves the sewer or not, because they shouldn't require a sewer.
Coach.
It's just the water.
Coach.
Sir.
Mr. Cadell.
Yes, sir.
I think we just heard from Mr. Buzak that those.
No, I agree. Those are not the numbers. I think the 104 is what the numbers say here, but I think that they're going to take away the sewer, which is only fair because you're not going to use the sewer. So it'll be less than 100, maybe half of that. My concern, and I'm the small builder, guys, that we talk about. I'm the small guy that's done a 4-plex, an 8-plex, a 20-plex. I'm the guy the little guy. I don't do much. And I've been doing it for 20 years. My last project that I'm trying to finish up right now is 20 townhouses that I'm in the process of building now, and I got in before the new impact and the whole thing, so I paid $3,000 for the 2-inch meter, for the sewer and the whole thing, and I'm basically trying to finish that up. But I've got 2 more sections that I was supposed to do. But now I have to put a sprinkler system, and I have to put the new system for the water. The 2-inch is going to cost $17,000, from 3,000 to 17,000. I mean, that's quite a jump.
But remember, that's mandated from the state.
No, I'm talking, that's just the water meter, Charlie.
Oh, the
That's just-
sprinkler system.
No, I'm talking
Oh,
about the
we're
water
talking
meter.
about the water meter.
And then the sprinkler system, I understand that, it comes from the state. But it's still costing. I'm just telling you what reality is. It comes from the state, it comes from wherever. It's still costing me, everybody, that anybody wants to do business in here.
Let me ask you something. Over 20 years, what were those condominiums make? How much will you gross off of that over 20 years?
Oh, well, you pay the bank, you make a little bit of money, you go to the next one. And every year you try to make money. I mean, that's what we're in here for the business for, provide housing and make money. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that.
No.
You know? And, I got to provide for my family just like you all do for your family. And I don't think that's a sin. Anyway, so this project that I'm talking about now, if I want to continue doing it, it's going to cost me $20,000 for the meter plus the sprinkler system. That's mandated by the state. Now, that sprinkler system, let's say it's not going to cost me $100,000, but it's going to cost me $50,000 for the sprinkler. And then I still have to install the sprinkler system. That's another $6 a foot. On 20,000 square feet, do the numbers, over $100,000. Okay? So this new building that I have to build again, the same building, is going to cost me close to $200,000. I can't do it. It's impossible. My costs are outrageous, so I can't do the building anymore. I did one because I did it before this all took place, but I can't do the second one, and I can't do the third one, and I can't do any more business in here, simply because this cost has taken me out of business. I can't afford to do that. I know it's from the state. Now, I don't know what you all can do about it, can change it or apply it or how it works. I understand if there's a building 4 or 5 stories, you want to put a sprinkler system, that makes sense. But how about a 1 or 2 story building? Do we have to put a system there? Is it necessary? We have alarms. We have sheetrock that is fireproof that's already installed.
I think Lenny behind you can probably answer that better than all of us, because before I came on board, that was an issue that was passed through the commission on the issue that he can probably tell you more about.
Exactly. Well, I'm just one of them. I'm just telling you my problem.
Exactly.
My problem is I can't do business anymore. And I told my concrete guy, we can't work anymore. My sheetrock guy, we don't have any more work. My electrician, and so on down. The water system is worth more than my property. I can't afford to build anymore.
But like we told Mr. Alfred, we want to help you, and we're going to find ways to help the small businessman, but we got to give some relief to the citizens of Brownsville.
I understand. I understand.
Hold on a second. Hold on, Mr. Gadriel. Mr. Commissioner Atkinson, explain to this commission and to everybody watching how this impact fee, whether it's at the 2,100 or 3,000, how that's going to give relief to the ratepayer.
It should.
How?
Because we're setting a fee now that we can work with, PUB can work with, so they don't have to raise rates quicker and faster. That's what it's doing.
And if we kill growth, but see
we're not killing growth.
Hold on
People
a
are
second.
going to
Hold on
build.
a second. Hold on a second.
He's going to let me finish.
Hold on a second.
He's going to work. Trust me. He's going to work.
The concern that was raised at the hearing, and the representation that you keep making is that, and people are going to believe this, that you're telling them that the rates are going to go down. The rates are not going to go down.
Trust me, if I can find a way to bring the rates down, we will.
We would all do that, but that's
we're
not
giving
the
a
issue. You're
chance.
trying to tell the people.
We're trying to be closed-minded here. That's to say, oh, the rates are going to go up no matter what.
You keep saying we're going to give a break to the ratepayer. We're not giving a break to the ratepayer.
You're saying by keeping it at 600 like some of the commissioners wanted?
I'm telling you the questions that were asked at the last several hearings is exactly what this issue is being raised. Commissioner Hernandez, raised it at the last hearing. We voted for this. I went ahead and voted for it, and out of the spirit of compromise, which you didn't even vote for, in the hopes that maybe we could get this issue off of dead center.
That's because I
Hold
wanted
on a
at
second. Hold on,
3,090.
Commissioner.
Remember,
you need to let everybody else complete. I'm going to let you finish when you have something to say. You're going to have to learn to wait.
But if
You're going to have to learn to wait, sir. Right. The issue that is being raised is exactly what our concern is. We don't know what this impact is going to have. If it's 600 or 2,000 or 3,000. The numbers show, and we knew this, but we asked Commissioner Hernandez at the hearing how we could work this. What kind of an impact is that going to have? We focused on the residential. We knew that what's going to happen on the residential is that the large developer is going to pass that expense on to the ultimate home buyer, whoever that person ends up being. This person, Mr. Cadriel, and a number of other people that I'm sure that are here and have called everybody, are the ones that are going to affect. I don't want this commission to be the one that McAllen or Harlingen or Loretto or Corpus utilize to say, you know what, they just killed growth in Brownsville. That's been my concern. And I also said that if we made a mistake with this, we're in a position to fix it. And so if these issues keep coming up where we're stunting growth or people are saying we're not going to do anything until, or we're going to move somewhere else, that's something this commission needs to take into consideration. All right, now you can, you got something
Mayor,
to say, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Charlie, I don't want to, Mayor, my problem is I can't afford to build. It's not that I don't want to build.
Right.
I can't afford to build under these conditions. I mean, and that's just simple common sense.
It would
wouldn't
have
do
cost you
either.
how much before?
Pardon?
The 2-inch would have cost you
3,000.
3,000.
Now,
Now it's going to cost you
17,000.
So
And so that project.
So it'll take you
How
longer.
much was the entire project? Let's say that you were going to charge.
The project,
Cost.
$1 million.
Was a $1 million project.
All right, and if I was to add the sprinkler system to it, it would probably cost me 1.2 million.
That was going to have to be added in anyway.
Pardon?
That was going
the
to have to be
sprinkler.
added in anyway.
The sprinkler system?
Surely that,
Sprinkler system,
Came from the
Chief,
state.
quickly answer that question.
Yeah.
Is that the reason we've got
That's
this
a non-issue
requirement
for
now
me.
is why?
Last year of August of 2005, the City Commission passed an ordinance adopting the International Fire Codes 2003 edition. So it is a city ordinance, it's not a state ordinance. But it's
What was
a
the
life
rationale
it's a
for it?
Rationale for life safety, protect people.
Doesn't it
more
also
than
help
anything else.
insurance cost?
A sprinkler system will help the the individual that owns those things recoup his expenses over a number of years. So I think insurance company told me anywhere from 8 to 10 years he'll recoup his investment into the sprinkler system. We do allow a variance on sprinkler systems for apartments if they have 20 heads or less that they're utilizing for apartments. They can use residential, which is PPVC. But there's other issues that the developer and PUB need to come in contract to allow certain valves that can be utilized to tap into the potable water instead of having a fire line.
Let me
That
ask you
would
something.
cut their expenses.
Manny, so it's a city ordinance, it's not a state mandated thing.
My understanding, sir, then everything
So
I've
we can
checked,
go
it's a
back,
city-
we can change it
I wouldn't
to help
recommend
the
it.
developer.
I wouldn't recommend it.
But why can't we put a fire hydrant in front of these 20,
I understand, sir, but it's a life
condominiums?
safety issue. People are very important to me. I wouldn't recommend it.
but we're stopping growth by,
One life is, one child is very important to me, sir.
Chief, at what point do they need to install a sprinkler? Are we talking about a two-story structure?
We're talking about apartments above a duplex. Anything over above a duplex, according to the codes.
So a regular
The
one-story
impact,
building?
the Hold on, let's clarify. The impact change, the change in the impact fee did not change the price of, or requirement regarding the placement of a fire sprinkler system.
No, sir, that was already in place
Okay.
prior to.
Mayor, the problem is that you have a $17,000 2-inch line for, say, 20 units. You have a minimum 4 to 6-inch line for the fire sprinkler system, plus you have a $40,000 valve, a special valve that PUB requires you to have for that sprinkler system. So you're looking at as high as $150,000 above and beyond.
But that's
for
because of the
basic
change.
cost before the fire system's put in.
That's what I'm saying, but that's because of the change in the
Yes, sir.
impact
Yeah,
fee.
well,
All right.
except for the valve charge. The valve charge PUB's had in place for a while. The special, some kind of special valve they have, I know it costs $40,000.
well, maybe we need to address that with PUB and see if there's some flexibility there in reference to the valves.
I think what the fire chief is trying to explain is that he can approve a residential sprinkler system that would use
Certain units.
PVC pipes for certain apartment complexes. But the issue is gonna be, will PUB agree to connect based on water pressure?
Or based on the sprinkler system company's flow evaluations, because they're not gonna put it in there unless they can prove it is.
It'll work.
Yes, sir.
there's John right behind me.
There'd have to be some calculations done by the sprinkler system company.
What we require, our service policy now is that we have a separate fire line with the valve on there to prevent backflow, as Commissioner Hernandez said. And what Lenny's got is something new that we're looking at, that as we work on our service policies for these new impact fees, see if we can incorporate that in. It's just something new for us. We just want to make sure really more of the backflow prevention than, and the pressure requirements, so there's enough pressure there, and that's what we need to work through. But, I mean, I think it's something, it's an engineering issue, not really anything else.
John, since you're standing there, when you take the price of a 2-inch line, what it was, and a 6-inch line, what it was, I come up with a total of about 21,000. Today, those same two lines, as of yesterday, those same two lines for that apartment complex, the meter charges are 113,000. Is that correct? But, yeah.
It's gone up considerably, yeah.
Considerably. I think that's the impact. It's not the actual sprinkler system itself that people know they have to have is one thing. The valve is a separate issue, but these costs just to put in the ground before you even start building are what have gotten out of hand, in my opinion.
Well, some of those charges have stayed the same. Impact fees,
That, which means the connection fee or the meter fee is now much higher.
Well,
I don't know if you want to call it a meter fee or whatever it is, it's still going to be 21,000 versus 113, no matter what you call it.
I believe that's true.
Okay.
Mr. Gabriel, I don't know if we let you finish what you wanted to say.
I just want to wrap it up, and I agree with the chief. I'm concerned about one life. I mean, I wouldn't want to have nothing happen to anybody or anything. That's not a problem. My only defense to this is that, let's say we have 10,000 apartments already in exist, okay? And there's 4 per family in there. There's 40,000 people that don't have sprinkler system. If we're concerned about one in the future, what about those 40,000 people? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And I understand where it's coming from. We're trying to save lives. I agree. You're not gonna worry about it because nobody's gonna build new apartments, not at that price. You don't have to worry about it. You have to worry about the people in the old apartments. What are you gonna do about those? How are you gonna protect those? You can't. That's my question. I mean, let's be reasonable. Let's be sensible. If you want to stop, I don't have a model or anything. I just know what it costs me, and I can't do business, not at this price. And I don't think any of you all could either. It doesn't make sense. The numbers don't add up, and that's the way business people do it. It has to work with numbers. Okay, it's real simple. It's not that hard to figure out. And I think we go back to 16 years ago. I can't go back to 16 years ago. Dallas Cowboys were champions 16 years ago. I can't go back to that. I can't think about that. That's, it's nothing to do with today.
But 2133 was the number 16 years ago.
Charlie, I can't go back there. I don't know why they did that and now. I just know that this is what we have today, and this is the problem we have today. That I can't do business, and I'm just one of them. And I'm the little guy at the bottom of the deal. I can't do business, and I'm sure the people in the same position as I am. And I'm being honest, and I'm speaking from personal experience. I'm not making numbers up. This is reality. These are your numbers. These are the numbers from PUB.
We have a committee now to address that. They're gonna, and trust me, a lot of them are developers in that committee. So yes, they're gonna find ways to relieve the developer. I'm all for that. I mean, everybody thinks I'm against the developer. I'm not. But the thing is, it shouldn't be the way it's been going. I guess that's why you voted for 2133, because you knew there was a problem. Okay? So it's a no-win situation. But we have a committee now that can address these things. And I think most of y'all should learn who's on that committee and address it to them so they can come out, so they can advise us of what's the proper thing to do. Because I'll be honest with you, and I told John Brusiak too, if we're not doing the development, and I put it in the editorial, we're not doing those CIP improvements, then yeah, we'll drop the rates if they're not there. See, but these things are based on what developers want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And let me just tell you also, I don't want to drag this down more than others. And if I'm out of line, tell me. I mean, I'm sorry. These lots that I build on are inside the city, okay? They're inside the city. There's sewer, there's water. I don't do any new development. I mean, I don't have to put roads or anything. All I do is go to PUB, how much is it? I pay them. I've never gotten a free ride. I've heard the developers getting a free ride. I've never given. Nobody's ever given me anything. This are your charges. You pay for it, and that's the way it is. I mean, and I don't want a free ride. You know, how much does it cost? Here it is, okay? And in fact, let me just tell you one little thing that the impact fees happened today or yesterday, the new ones. When I found out this was taking place, I went back to my wife and said, look, I want to make you happy. I'm going to go and pay the fees before they become effective. So I went to PUB like a bunch of other developers, big times. I'm the little guy. And I went and paid. I paid $3,000. I have 2 lots. Paid $3,000 for each lot. Okay, I paid $6,000, and I'm happy because today they're $34,000. They're $34,000 people. That's a lot of money. So my wife says, "Where's the money? Where's the difference?"
How much are those lots worth?
Probably 150,000.
I thought you were going to say a lot less. So.
But if I put a sprinkler system, it'll be worth as much, Mayor. I mean,
That's what he's asking for.
Oh, okay, that's the asking
and-
price.
yeah, exactly. And that's my problem. I can't do the next development. That's $1 million worth of taxes.
Well, and Jim, I mentioned this at the last hearing about the idea of donuts or bans. In other words, in city development, since all the infrastructure is already in place, less outside city or outskirts of the city, more. And we need to get an answer to that, and we need to get an answer to that immediately.
And I just want to throw this in also, Mr. Cadre, and to the audience. These are gray clouds right now, but there is a silver lining. This isn't forever. It's not etched in stone. We're going to meet, the committee is going to meet, and we're going to be aware of that meeting in 1 year, perhaps sooner, to reevaluate and reassess.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you guys are trying to figure it out. I think it's
Exactly.
important to the development. It's important to everybody. Thank you for your time.
John, were you going to say something about that question I asked?
One of the things, caution the commission, you can't pick and choose who pays the fee and who doesn't. Now, what you can do, and we didn't do that, and that was the committee's recommendation, is you go to a zonal impact fee, where parts of town pay less, parts of town
That's
pay
what I was asking.
That's what he
You
was
can
talking
do it,
about.
but you have to go back and redo the study completely to a zonal. San Antonio's got that. Some have huge, could be $20,000 a meter, and some are 200. But that was not the position the committee took to want to do that. They wanted a uniform charge throughout the city.
Well, I think
It had to be redone.
we're inventing the wheel, and if we've made a mistake, we're not in a position where we can't try to rectify it or minimize any damage. So. All right.
You can do it, but you would have to redo the impact fee study. You can't take what you have.
No, you don't have to do the impact fee study. You just have to redo the land use and the capital plan, the kayak, right?
That's a large part of the impact fee study, because it's going to recalculate your fee.
Well, that's
Well, if
what
we
we're
have to
talking
do
about.
that, we have to
That's
do
what we're
that.
talking about. Okay.
And that's
Well,
just-
let's find out what would be necessary in order to do that and a time frame, Jim, on that. Let me get everybody else here quickly to speak. Chief, let me let the other people speak, if you don't mind. I don't think we're going to do away with the fire sprinklers. All right.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
My name is Ruth Nishioka, and I've lived in the area for approximately 2 years. I'm a small investor in the city of Brownsville, and I have to say that all of this has turned me off. I'm building a building, and quite frankly, I will sell it as fast as I can and take my money west. I don't think this is really fair. The other comment I have is I also work at the Los Fresnos Library. I'm the children's librarian. And within the last 5 weeks, I can name you 6 families that have left Brownsville because of the high cost of utilities. In fact, I spoke to a lady today. So I think, in my opinion, you're not going to need much development, because you're right, people are leaving because utility fees are too high. But you're going to cripple an investor like myself, and certainly the builders and developers. Now, I have one other question. There's a gentleman that comes into the Los Fresnos Library who is a Texan, he was a rancher, and he sells power at a cheaper rate through a co-op, through whatever. My question is, why can he not sell power in Brownsville? Why does HUB appear to have control of the power in Brownsville. The word that pops into my mind right away is, isn't that a monopoly or close to it? And I vaguely remember that the federal government was quite interested in Bill Gates having a monopoly.
Ma'am, this is a hearing on our connection fees and the impact
Right,
fees.
right.
I understand your concerns, and all the answers to your questions or concern that there is something inappropriate going on in the city can well be answered by our general manager at PUB. And if those individuals have gone over to AEP, they're going to be very, very unpleasantly surprised with regards to their electricity rates if they were used to be PUB customers.
Well, that's my.
But in any event, I appreciate your concerns with regards
Have
to
a-
the impact fees and your comments, and they're well taken, and we do appreciate you coming down here this evening
I just
with
want
us.
to ask, how much money were you looking at investing in Brownsville?
Oh, almost 2 million.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, my name is Michael Garza. I'm a builder here in Brownsville, builder developer. I took a little bit of time of my day-to-day and my busy schedule to go through the website of several cities and their impact fees. And if I may, I'd like to the first one is our city, PUB. This is on their website. As we all know, we used to have, for a 5/8 to 3/4 inch meter with one ESU as a water impact fee, prior to this change, was $110. Now it's $117. For our wastewater impact fee, prior to this change, our impact fee was $170. Now it's $1,216, which equals to the amount that you see up there, $2,133. Okay. Let me change the. One more. Touching bases on the 6-inch meter. Now, with a 6-inch meter, correct me if I'm wrong, people from PUB are still here. PUB is requiring a 6-inch line with a special backflow prevention valve and for a fire system. And we've heard that is a city ordinance, city code, and we have to follow that. There's certain things that apply, and there's certain loopholes that can be also followed. And speaking to the city, as far as permitting department, they'll say, well, if you identify a fourplex as a townhouse, it might not fall into that picture. But if you identify it as an apartment complex, it might. Well, we need to define that, and we need to set it straight, because if one life is lost in a duplex or a fourplex or whatever it is, it's lost. It's not going to come back. I'm all for safety. Chief, I'm with you. The scenario here is the cost for a 6-inch line has gone up to $106,650 for sewer and water impact. Now, I have a question about this. If the line sits there stagnant, not used, what impact is it having? Second, what impact do we have on wastewater if this water is not going through your sewer pipes? I mean, we have a $60,000 cost on wastewater impact fee. It's just like if you have a water meter for your sprinkler systems. They don't charge you a wastewater. This is a special meter. Well, this is a special safety meter or pipe that needs to be, I mean, I just think this needs to be looked at. I could live with the 2133, and maybe I could live with even the 2-inch, the 17. But what makes or breaks the deal is the big number in commercial. Now, Mercedes, Texas. This is Schedule B, and they call it a tapping fee. The 3/4 inch meter is $225. A 1-inch connection is $350. A 2-inch connection is $1,500. A 3-inch connection is $2,500. And 4-inch is the actual cost plus the paving and repairs.
What's the actual cost of the 6-inch?
It's based on the actual size that you're going to put and what it takes to repair it and pave it.
What is the cost of the 6-inch in Mercedes?
It can be, well, if you looked at the cost. If you look at the cost of the 4-inch, which is 2 inches lower, we don't have a cost because it's telling you it's actual cost plus paving. But if you look at the 3-inch, even if you double the 3-inch to go to a 6, it's $2,500. I mean, does that answer your question? This is McAllen, Texas. We all say that there's no impact fee there. They don't call it an impact fee. It's a tap fee. And again, these are all websites that everybody can visit. We have a 3/4 inch tap for $325. We have a 1-inch tap for $450. An 1.5 for $950. 2-inch, and so on. I mean, here's a 6-inch. Again, 600, $6,100. I mean,
What about the amount that goes in the escrow?
well, it's based on physical numbers that are being shown. And I'm just comparing what's here to there. This is south of McAllen. This is Edinburgh, Texas. 5/8 through 3/4 inch meter. We have a tap fee of $325. Deposit of $50. Total amount of $375. For a 1-inch meter, $485. Deposit of $60 for a total of $545. Over here they use turbo meters, which is a different terminology. It's like a car with a turbo. It produces more volume. A 2-inch turbo, $1,235. And total impact on that would be $1,385. And it goes on to the 6-inch. And even at the 6-inch, looking at that, that's $8,100. I mean, compare the numbers to what we have here in Brownsville. Guys, would you go back to the one in Brownsville? This is the highest number, Edinburgh, 8,000 for a 6-inch. Going back to Brownsville, look at the number for a 6-inch. I mean, is that realistic? I mean, we need to do something. And this is why. I mean, these are real numbers. We sit here and we say, we can't look, we can't see. Guys, public information. It's in the internet. Pick it up. Use it. It's there. We make decisions based on what? How did we come up with an answer? How do we make a vote? I mean, it's available. I have one more city, and we talked about San Antonio. Now, San Antonio is a little bit bigger town, more money to be made, better jobs, military outfits.
Are they growing as fast as we are?
They're growing by the numbers. If you go to north and east of town, you have the college, Cantera, you have all that area is booming, apartment complexes everywhere. If you look at what the way they charge this is well, again, you got hills, peaks, and valleys out there. In other words, the higher the terrain, the harder the terrain, the more expensive it is. If you look at the cost, at this point in time, the water supply impact fee is $1,242 for water. May I go back to Brownsville on the water? Water impact fee of $917. Wow, we're lower. How many more people are in San Antonio? How many more jobs are out there? What industries out there? What do we have? There's no way. We can't compare ourselves to them. So there's something wrong here. There's definitely something wrong here. The information is available. All I'm asking is for this board and this commission to look at the numbers, do your homework, and make the right decision. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
My name is Gerardo Rodriguez. We are small builders as well. We're not developers, we're builders. And we've been following this item pretty closely because it's going to have an effect on us, already is having an effect on us. And the one thing that we heard, a concern, is that there's no economic study done, and I've heard this addressed in the previous speakers. I did a little of my own research also, and found that a lot of other communities are having the exact same issue as we are as far as implementing impact fees. And you heard the same arguments, developers pay their own way, and then you don't want to hurt growth. But the one thing that has happened in the communities that have implemented this is that the people affected, or the areas affected, are low to middle income housing. Right now, the gap, we deal with it every day, is very close. People, not because they have bad credit, just because they don't make enough money. They barely make enough money to qualify to buy an $80,000 house. And it's right there. And this little jump is going to hurt, and the more we go up, accounting for inflation, if we don't keep up, the gap is going to grow and grow, like in Florida, where the low-income people cannot afford a home, period. They live in apartments, that's what they're going to do, and there's no choice. So all we're asking is that we take a look at it and keep on it and make sure that we don't do anything that's going to stop the momentum here in Brownsville. Another area is in Southmost. Any unimproved lot, people have been paying on their lots for years and years and years, waiting to build a house on it. And we've built quite a few houses in Southmost, and they're not young families. They're people who are retired, saving their whole life. This is it. I paid off my lot, going to build a house, and now this is one more hurdle that we will do what we have to do to keep going. But it is going to have an effect. It's already started in a lot that we were going to purchase to build a duplex. Thank God it wasn't a fourplex, because that fire sprinkler would have killed us. But you're buying a $12,000 lot, and now we're having to pay $6,000 to put a duplex on it for the water meter. That completely makes the project not economical, and it just can't happen. So we just ask that you guys keep on top of it, and like you said, there's a committee in place. Just make sure that we don't lose the momentum we have. Right now, things are good in Brownsville, and we don't want to see that stop anytime soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that's going to?
Yeah, there's a couple more.
Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Gail Armstrong. I manage L. Harding Water Supply Corporation, a rural water utility that's in and around Brownsville. I'd like to share with you a little bit of our experience. We have impact fees that we charge our customers. We consider impact fees to be a consumer-driven cost. I've drew up a little comparison today of our impact fees, or capital improvement fees, which is the way we characterize them, and PUB's fees. For the standard residential meter, our impact fees total up to $1,445. PUB's impact fees total up to $2,130, but theirs includes wastewater as well. Ours is just the water side. I could give you other comparisons, but they're parallel all the way depending upon the size of the meter. But impact fees, if I may read this, it'll
Please do.
simplify it a little bit. Impact and like fees put the burden upon future customers to pay their fair share of capital improvement costs which they consume. These costs would otherwise be borne by the existing customer base, who would then be subsidizing developers. This concept has put L. Harding Water Supply Corporation in a positive cash flow position. We would not be able to do the work we do without otherwise raising our water rates to our customers. The new customer must be held accountable for the impact that they place upon the system created by their tapping into the system. And this is our way of addressing that.
So let me ask you said 1,400 just for water?
I beg your pardon?
1,400 just for water?
That's for the impact fees.
Okay, but it's just water and wastewater?
No, we don't do wastewater.
So 1,400 just for water?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And our total meter cost for that, the minimum cost of a meter would be $2,339.
If you had wastewater, what would it be?
Well, I don't have any way of measuring that.
So when Mr. Cardenas said that he was going to leave PUB and give his new subdivision to your company, he will in essence be paying $2,300 in impact fees for his subdivision.
He would be paying this approximately the same impact for fees for the water he would be paying for PUB. Right.
If I remember correctly, he didn't say Olmito, he said Olmito Water Supply, not El Jardín. Olmito Water Supply impact fees are under $1,000, water and sewer combined. So that's not an apples to apples comparison.
But I'd like to comment that I've been managing the system for 10 years. When I took over management, we were in the red and consistently going in the red year after year. This is one of the business decisions that we've made. It has put us in the black. Now we're able to pay our way, and our mission is to take care of our existing customer base. The future customers have to pay their fair share.
Thank you very much, Mr. Armstrong. Is Harry Ingram still here? Yes. Yeah, I have him both. Are you going to comment, Mr. Ingram?
That's after the meeting, that's after the public comment section afterwards.
Well, I have Mr. Almada afterwards also.
But I want to speak on this.
Okay, then we're going to close the public hearing and you'll make comments after.
No, I want to, while you open
Part
it
of
up
the
to
public hearing.
on the impact fees,
Public hearing.
I want to answer the questions on the public hearing, okay? Commissioners, I want to thank you for the opportunity to come here before you. I know this has been a difficult issue for you all, but we can't keep beating a dead horse. We need to come together as a community, okay? A decision was made here by you all. There was some disagreement, there was some healthy debate, but there was a decision made. Now we need to move forward. But, you know, there's disinformation out there that is not healthy. It doesn't help anybody. When you get your facts wrong, people tend to believe it because they hear it from you and they think it's true. But I advise you to go to and get your facts straight before you start printing.
Let me ask you, Mr. Mata.
Like that.
Were those websites wrong?
No, wait a second. There's different ways to fund impact fees. I mean, capital improvements. You can do it through ad valorem taxes. Okay. You can do them through user fees, like called impact fees. You could do it through rates, which you don't know what those communities are doing. We need to look at them. First of all, they're probably funding some of it through rates. Some are funding through ad valorem taxes. You heard from Mr. Armstrong here. The impact fee is driven by the capital improvements, the users being the developers. It's driven by them. And we discussed that here, and we said that here. Now, whatever rate you all wanted to adopt was okay. We would work with that, and that's the only capital improvements we could do with what you all approved. In other words, if you approved $500, then we couldn't build a sewer plant. Then we couldn't meet Mr. Perez or Mr. Alfred or all these developers here, their needs. Then they would be complaining and saying, you can't meet my needs, I can't grow, the city can't grow because we can't build subdivisions. So how do you answer their question? You can't answer it because you can't have it both ways. Let me ask you this. Since 1990, okay, the rates, and get your facts straight. Since 1990, we had combined water and wastewater 214% increase.
No,
Since
sir.
1990.
You add them and divide them by two. You don't, they're not multiples.
Sir, I said, look, I said,
It's
you need to get your facts straight.
100% increase.
Let me finish,
sir.
Mr. Commissioner.
I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Look, I said combined. Didn't I say combined, Commissioner? Didn't I say combined?
I didn't know.
It's still wrong.
You didn't hear it?
No, I didn't hear it.
Here's 105% by water and 109% by wastewater. These are PUB facts. They're in the minutes, okay? If you want to dispute them, Commissioner, you're welcome to go to PUB and dispute them. But these are the facts. These were the raises. Now, what does this mean? This means the citizens of Brownsville funded $91 million of capital improvements since 1991 to present through the rates. That's why we had such a low rate.
Pat, real quick, can you put that over here so the camera can get that?
It's not about your need only. Because if that's what we're going to be talking about, then you're being selfish. Because I'm going to ask you right now, do you think that's fair? That was passed on to all the citizens of Brownsville that were connected to PUB to be funding the capital improvements for development? Do you think that's fair? I'm sure if you're a reasonable person, you're going to say, it's not fair. That's why that lady said that people were moving out because the utility rates were too high. Well, whose fault is that? Because we have to fund the capital improvements needed. That's why the utility rates were high, because the impact fee rate was very low, okay? So this decision was made, okay, to raise the impact fee in order to fund the capital improvements. If y'all didn't want to do that, we said that was okay. But then developers would have to build their own sewer plant or create their own mud to meet their own needs. Unless you can give us a solution as to how do you build the capital improvements needed, okay? Don't raise rates and keep the impact fee low like they want. If you can't give us that solution.
I think this commission had a consensus, we're not going to increase rates. Everybody has agreed to that.
Okay, so we agreed to that, okay? So how do you fund capital improvements?
My concern is too big of a drastic change that the people that you guys keep talking about, the developers, those are like the Simmons, Cardenas, those are the people who can probably afford it. I'm concerned when people start coming up to me, the small developers, and then we start knocking out the plumbers and the tile guys and the air conditioning guys because there's no development. We're knocking them out of the box.
But
We're
aren't you
leaving them out of a job, sir. That's my concern.
But aren't we getting ahead of ourselves, Commissioner? You're saying the sky is falling. The sky
No, I'm not
hasn't-
saying the sky is falling.
The sky hasn't fallen yet.
Like our
First of
financial
all,
advisor, Mr. Hinojosa, said, we should walk before we run, sir. That's my, I
okay,
think we're
let
we're
me address.
running.
Let me address. Okay, you give me the answer then. Your concern is legitimate. You don't want to stagnate growth.
You want an answer? I got an answer right here.
Let me ask you the question. Let me ask you the question first. Give me the answer. If you want us to do the capital improvements that developers need, how do we pay for it?
We cut down on the CIP plan.
Okay, well, then we'll do
That's
that.
it. That's what I've said all along.
That's what we're going to do because
that's what we need to.
we did
And if it
not
only takes
approve.
us so far, it only takes us so far.
We did not approve 3,090. We did approve 2,133,
didn't.
which is what the quota will be used to fund the amount of capital improvements. But Commissioner, let me make
for
one
the
point.
record, sir, I didn't.
Let me make one point. Let me make one point. When this all started, before it all started, because the problem was that the utility rates were going up. They were escalating. In fact, y'all approved a 4-year plan to raise rates, okay? And the citizens got upset. So the question was asked, is this going to keep rates low? Yes, it is. So it's not going to increase rates because we're doing this. If you didn't do this, it would increase rates if you wanted to do the capital improvements. So it's a misconception, a misrepresentation to state that by adopting this plan, it's not going to keep rates low. It is going to keep rates lower, okay? But, Commissioner, when we started this, before we even got to a study at the board level, okay, I offered, and you're here, he could tell you, I offered to adopt a 2,133 as an impact fee. Did I not, John? That's what I offered. The mayor did not want that. Okay, he opposed that. And as a compromise, he agreed to an impact fee study. Is that correct, John? Okay. So we did the study. So he didn't like the 2,133. He didn't like the impact fee study. So, but you don't give me a solution to the problem that we need for PUB to do the
I
capital.
have given you a solution. We
Okay,
cut on the
what's that?
CIP plan. And if it only gets us to where it gets us, that's as far as it gets us.
But you're cutting off.
Taking care of everybody.
We're not
I have a
taking care
real
of
concern.
everybody.
Yeah, we are.
You-
And I'm real concerned with that because I've already told you I'm not gonna raise rates, and the bottom line is this commission.
And do
We
you want,
decide
do you want to do the capital improvements?
We need to do whatever, as
Or
far
do
as
you-
it gets.
I mean, do you need the sewer plant?
I
Do
said
you
that
wanna
we
build
needed
a
to
sewer
go
plant
up
to
on the
meet their
impact
Commissioner
fees,
Cisneros,
but
Mr. Amada.
I said we needed to go up on the
We're going to
impact
be
fees.
looking at this. We are going to revisit this issue
I just have a
as
concern with
necessary.
it.
But all I ask is for y'all to get your facts straight, because some people, they go around shooting facts that I believe come from another planet.
I'm
because
looking
they're
at the,
facts
at
are
the
right here.
websites of the utility companies
We
around
will be
that were
getting
put up there.
facts very accurately.
Thank you,
very
Commissioner.
much,
Thank you
Mr.
so
Amada.
much. And keep in mind what
wanna say
the
one
past.
thing. I do want to make one comment, and if you want to listen, if not, I don't really care. I have come up with a very simple solution how to fix the problem regarding impact and connection fees. The ratepayer and the small business person are always the first ones to be hit with higher rates and fees. The city commission has always been forced to take sides, which creates an us against them attitude among ourselves. If you go back to look at the $130 million capital improvements program that was presented to us by Mr. Umada, there's a very simple way to resolve this funding for this program. Our position was the impact fee being $280 left a shortfall by your numbers of $6.4 million to be paid by the ratepayers to fund $130 million. Based on the 3,090 figure which you supported, and Commissioner Atkinson, the shortfall would only be $2.3 million to be paid by the ratepayer.
What did you recommend, Ernie?
Let
You
me
didn't
finish my
recommend
deal.
anything.
No, no,
You sat there.
Let me
Now you have
finish.
something to say now?
No, you can't, I'm not
Why didn't you
finished.
say anything last week?
Let him finish.
Let me
Let him
finish.
finish, please.
I don't want to make anybody look bad, let's tell you what it says.
Please
The difference of
finish.
$6.3
You
million
didn't recommend anything.
is to be collected over the next 5 years. That's an average of $1.2 million a year shortfall by your numbers. Very simply, we just recently cut our budget 3 cents, about $1.4 million, because of we've had tremendous sales tax increases, we've had valuations go way up, we cut our tax rate by 3 cents. If PUB would cut 1%, which I know you advocated also to cut positions one time at PUB, 1% off the PUB budget for the next 4 years, PUB would not have to raise rates on water and sewer at all, and all capital improvement projects could be funded. Do the math. Based on the $1 million revenue, why can't PUB cut back a little bit and share with all the newfound revenues with the ratepayers? This would solve all of our problems. I am seriously considering asking the city commission, who has been gone over and over and beat this with a dead horse, if you want to, we'll reduce the water and sewer rates from last year. And then you come back with a new plan. But I'm telling you, 1% of your huge budget would fund everything, solve all the problems. You can smirk all you want, but do the math. I'm not wrong. It's been checked and verified.
First of all, Commissioner, you as a body appoint members to the board, okay? You appoint them there to oversee the management, okay? One person does not run PUB. The general manager runs PUB. The board oversees PUB. Now, I have healthy debates there and disagreements, but they're healthy. They bring out the issues. I recommended cutting back. Yes, I did, but I'm one vote. I could get it done. What do you want me to do?
I think it was a
Wait a
good
second, wait a
idea.
second. And your own mayor opposed the cut. So, I mean, I'm just one vote. Commissioner, you were there. You know how it works. So what you're proposing is a little unrealistic, Commissioner, because let me tell you something. You're mixing apples and oranges. First of all, I did not propose 3,090. I always said here, whatever y'all adopt, we will work with. Did I not, Commissioner?
This is a public
Okay,
hearing.
yes, okay. And it was not my study, Commissioner. You got it all wrong. We paid $220,000 to do a study. It's not Pat O'Malley's study, and it wasn't I was only one member of a capital improvements committee. I was one member. You appointed members to that board. Now, you don't like what they came up with? That's your problem. You appointed them.
You asked me for a solution. I gave you
Well,
one.
I offer solutions all the time, Commissioner,
Gentlemen,
but I'm just one vote.
Need to
Well,
wrap
maybe you
up.
can
just
take,
one
maybe you
vote.
can take that back to the PUB board and tell
Thank
them
you
about
very
that
much.
solution.
Commissioners?
Right?
Mr. Amada?
Commissioners, thank you so
very
much.
much.
Thank you.
I
Appreciate
have a
it.
motion to close the public hearing? Oh, I thought this was Mr. I'm sorry, Mr.
Mr. Perez, I'm sorry, I'll only take 5 minutes. Members of the commission, I thank you all for, I know the last couple of meetings have been long and, difficult, but I'm Jose Perez with Hispania Development, and I'm also a partner in Santander Properties, where West Wing is taking down some lots there, and I've been in communication with the CEO of West Wind, and now I gotta figure out how to tell them that the next phase is gonna cost them like $200,000 more, not to mention any kind of asphalt or pipes or anything like that, but basically, and I keep mentioning the $91 million taken over the last 15 years by developers, and basically, I mean, I don't see how that, I know that savings was passed on to the lot buyers and home buyers, and I think that's what ignited growth over the last 15 years. I think we've all enjoyed a healthy economic growth in the last 15 years. Sure, rates have doubled, but so has the shoes and shirts and everything else. You know, I don't think you buy the same product for 15 years ago for the same amount. Basically, I'd like to share a real quick letter that the Mr. Chris Arthur from Westwood Homes emailed me, and I won't take long. It's a brief letter, and may make some sense, and made a lot of sense to me. But what he says is, many years ago we were facing the same issue. Believe it or not, an impact fee amount being considered in Brownsville, nearly the same amount that was being considered in Laredo. It was about $1,500 to $3,000. We were able to show city manager, convince city council, and that a bond issue would pay for infrastructure costs, and the resulting revenue from the lower price points in the housing market would stimulate ownership and actually increase the revenues generated from real property taxation. This generated more than enough taxes to revenue to pay for the bond issue. The ironic thing is that we were able to show that new growth was able to pay for the infrastructure, and they actually didn't need to go out and issue a bond. Increase in the financial barriers to home ownership at the bottom of the income pyramid, which knocks the largest number of potential home buyers out of the market. This then affects those who sell their existing homes to move up into larger, newer homes, and effectively cripples the entire income spectrum of home buyers. Affordable housing of all price levels also affects the decisions of many companies looking to locate businesses because of the housing costs are higher than the wages needed to support the employees' housing needs are higher and can sometimes make the company less competitive. If they can pay higher wages, then the burden falls on the employee, and then they can't afford to live in the economy. This actually happened in parts of San Antonio where the housing costs are so high, it's hard to find teachers, retail clerks, general labor because of that. This may also affect the decisions of many employers that are looking to relocate in the community. Also, an impact fee may actually cause tax revenues to the city to fall in general, as the home building industry ability to stimulate a lot of areas of the local economy begins to slow. Such of all these types of construction materials, suppliers, construction trade owners, labor workers, furniture sales, department store sales, appliance sales, insurance companies, real estate companies, title companies, mortgage companies, and the list goes on. So, in some cases, the need for the city to repair or replace existing infrastructure is there anyway, and the drop in total dollars collected due to the lack of growth actually forces the city into a position where the only answer is to consider increasing the amount of the current tax base anyway. His letter was pretty interesting because they went through the same things in Laredo, and they do a lot of construction all over parts in the state, and they run into the similar kind of cases. And sure, I'm not saying impact fees is bad, and it's a good way to finance infrastructure, but I think there's got to be a median and an economic study done where, you know, if you increase the impact fee so high, you're going to stunt growth. Well, if you put a $25 million sewer plant, the only way you can pay for that is by new connections.
Let me ask you something real quick.
You don't have any growth.
You talked about everything going up in the last 16 years. So why wouldn't you want impact fees to go up then? I mean, you're going to pay $200 for a pair of Nikes when you used to pay $39 back then.
But they're not going up twice. They're,
Huh?
the
Oh, yeah.
impact fees are not going up.
16 years ago, Nikes were $40. Now they're $180. But you're still going to pay it.
You
But
can find them for-
more important, what is going to happen? What are you going to do when PUB has to tell you, sorry, Spina, you can't do your project because we had to cut the CIP?
That's not gonna happen.
Why not?
Because there's ways to.
Because if we can't do the CIP, we're going to tell you, sorry.
No, there's ways to finance it. It's not this or that. I think you can find a median and find.
Obviously, we've been doing something right because we have a lot of growth in the city, and I think it's just too big of a drastic jump Nobody said we shouldn't go up on impact fees. I think we needed to go up. That's just my personal opinion, but not as high as we did. I really think we're gonna knock a lot of people out of the box, and especially the little guy.
Carlos, you're not giving it a
Thank
chance
you,
yet.
Commissioner.
We're
Thank you
already
very much,
hearing it.
Mr. Gomez.
Chance. I mean, well, I can bring you 2,000 people here that can say thank you for at least keeping my rates out where the way they were.
Rates are not gonna go up. You keep saying that. and
May
I'm not
I
gonna
have a
go-
motion
so.
to close the public hearing? One more comment?
Again?
All right, this is the last one.
Thank you, Ms. Arroyo. By the way, Commissioner, 14 years ago, Nikes didn't have air in them. Now they do.
I just want you to know too,
That's
Mike.
to break the ice.
I just want you to know, I'm all in favor for helping the little businessman find a solution. I'm willing to sit down with you and find that, but it has to be in a way that doesn't
Yeah.
make the rates go higher.
We have two big icons here. We have PUB,
Not gonna
their
increase.
board, tremendous job. We have the city commission and the mayor, tremendous job. I mean, that's a big shoes to fill, and I respect that. But I'm listening to Mr. Hernandez and the commission, and listening to the mayor, and listening to Mr. Ahumada with all these numbers, and I'm listening. Okay, we have in a combined city and PUB monies, we're looking at over $100 million. The city, $100 million with PUB. Between both of these entities, my question, and it's a question, are we willing to risk our economy's future because we can't come up with less than $2 million for over 5 years from a combined budget of $200 million?
No, we're not. We're
Thank you.
not willing to risk it. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And that's
So move to close.
precisely, oh, thank you very much. That's precisely why we're listening to all of your comments tonight. Very good. Motion to close by Commissioner Cisneros, second by Commissioner.
No, you're next, hold on. No, no.
Now we have the public comment.
Who was the second?
Ah, I'm sorry.
Who was the second for
Action.
the closing of the public hearing?
Commissioner Camarillo.
I know you were gonna speak.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Now, we'll move into our public comment. And you are, very good, Mr. Ingram, thank you.
Thank you.
3 minutes, Mr. Ingram.
3 minutes, I don't even need that. But, yeah, my name is Harry Ingram with Taylorcraft Aviation. I want to thank the commissioners here for the job that they do. It's not easy, as we can see tonight. You've got many concerns on your shoulders. I appreciate the job that you're willing to listen and take two sides. Anyway, Taylorcraft has had a brutal first year here in Brownsville, Texas. But even though we've had some difficulties, we were still able to employ 35 people. We were still able to pay over $500,000 in payroll. We built a new airplane, delivered it. We've got 14 on the production line. We have some issues that are with the city that I just think need to be addressed to where we can work some things out.
You still employ 35 people?
Excuse me, Commissioner.
May I say something, Madam Mayor? Just to remind everyone, this is a public comment session, it's not a public hearing, so we,
Okay.
under our ordinance, we're just supposed to listen and not make comments.
Right. Thank you. Yes, we still are employing people, not 35 at this time. I know the way that lawyers think, city managers, you have big responsibilities, but there's also the business owner. And Ernie, I appreciate your opinions because you're a small business owner. I've got everything I own in this world tied up in this business. I've spent millions of dollars to get down here. I don't want to give it up. We've got a company that's viable and can work. And I'm just asking that I would have a media or a venue to express my concerns and work through it. We met with the BEDC this morning. The relocation dollars have been approved. Things are going forward. We have all approvals with the FAA. I'm just looking that somebody would look and say, hey, you know, we don't need another empty building out there. Let's just take another look. It's just my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ingram. And Mr. Amada, are you coming back again? Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Move, Commissioner Hernandez. Second. Commissioner Longoria, thank you. This meeting is adjourned.